Democracy, an evolving idea. We have studied democratic governments first started at England, then after USA, France in the 17th and 18th century. Recently also we have discussed two democratic revolutions in Libya and Myanmar. What is evolution here? It is the changing method in any aspect. The evolution of democracy refers to the progress and development of the democracy, which began in 17th and 18th century, have many ups and downs. After overthrowing the monarchical rules, their democratic governments were started. That means democracy broadened slowly its development. There are many layers and shades in the democracy. The concept of democracy today is very widened. As years are passing, and democracy which started in the 17th and 18th century passing to the upcoming centuries, it got many experiences and included several principles to in it. Today it had Today it has many layers. So today we find many questions in the democracy which are not to be answerable in a easy way. Let's study about the features of a democracy. How was a democracy at the initial stage? In the France, we have seen right to vote was given to the taxpayers. They were called active citizens. Active citizens were given right to vote, which is shown in figure 18.1. Right? This followed in France. Later, democracy changed that right to vote should be extended to educated. So, in the democracy, we found active citizens were given right to vote, and this principle, right to vote, slowly extended to the educated people. That is shown here in figure 18.2. You can vote if you are educated. This is right. Then after it also stated that if anyone is relating to women community, they are not given right to vote. In figure 18.3 we can see it. So today in democracy we find everyone, whether taxpayer, whether educated or uneducated, whether men or women, whether it is relating to any kind of religious people or caste people, everybody, all the people who crossed 21 years of age granted a right to vote. So this right to vote was confined to only taxpayers. Today it is given to all, irrespective of the religion, caste, gender of the people. So the principle in democracy, time to time changing and adding the new meaning to the democracy. So slowly many layers, shades added to the democracy. Right? Today we find democracy in many of the countries, which is the best form of what to call government or political system we find. Understand? If we have studied uh, the case of Libya, in Libya we find that ultimate power was with the revolutionary command council, and that was appointed by the Gaddafi, where the members of the RCC were not elected by people. So they were not answerable to the people. They were appointed. Who? Members of RCC. We have studied it. So as they were not elected by people, they did not have responsibility to answer the people. So there were elected assemblies also in Libya, that is people councils. And that people council did not take decisions on its own. It implemented the decisions, orders given by RCC, which was not answerable to anyone. Such a rule was set up there. So people raised what to call revolution for democracy instead. In democratic country, we find the power in the hands of elected representatives. Elected representatives would enjoy the supreme power that is given to them by the people. People elects representatives by the process of election and exercising their right to vote. It means people have given power to the elected representatives to rule the nation. So the power to the elected representatives have come from the people. So people are the source of the power, right? So people given that supreme power to the elected representatives. So elected representatives will rule the what a nation. They would be supreme. Elected representatives will be supreme in authority, and no one is supreme over them. Understand? It is they are elected by people, so they can exercise any authority on the people because people have given the power, right? And they are answerable to the people. Elected government functionaries are answerable to the people in different ways. It may be legislature, executive department, or the what to call various uh, bodies which work under a democratic government. They must be answerable to the people. Police department is there. It is a function under democracy. It should be answerable to the people. Revenue department is there. It works under democratic system. So that must be answerable to people. So all government functionaries must and should answerable to the people because people have given power to the government, that is elected representatives. First of all, there would be elected assemblies in which the government we find that the government will be there, in which government functionaries would be asked to explain their work and get the plan of work. So in democracy, we find a responsible government. The first feature of the democracy is that it is a responsible government. In democracy, we see that elected representatives are answerable to the people, right? Second is that any citizen would have approved a right to demand information about any work done by the government, and the government has to disclose such information. Recently we got Right to Information Act. So we elected the government through the election, so such a government should be answerable to us. So whatever information we ask, government has to provide for us. Understand? It doesn't mean that to provide some confidential information relating to the nation's security. Okay, if you ask about the defense information, which is relating to the protection of the nation, that will not be provided. So some information which is very valuable and in terms of the protection of the nation, they are not disclosed. Remaining everything is disclosed. Suppose you want to know the expenditure of the government in your village, how they expensed for laying the roads. If you apply if you ask through an application, then there is a responsibility on concerned authority of the government to provide that information, because we are the supreme in democracy. People are supreme in democracy, right? People have given power to some representatives who are elected by people. So elected representatives must be answerable to people. Elected representatives will form the government. So government is answerable to us. Even the prime minister, MLAs, MPs, ward members, sarpanch, upasarpanch, then what you call mayor, all these are answerable to us. Understand? We are supreme, they are not supreme. We given power to them to rule us. They are our servants. Okay, we have given a chance to them, right? So that we should get information. We have right to ask a question all these representatives. So this is one important function we find in democracy. So democracy is the what? Responsible government. This we cannot find in dictatorship. King is supreme in authority. There is a what to call, he enjoyed the divine right theory. He was not answerable to anyone in the dictatorship. But in democracy, people are supreme in authority. Everyone should be answerable to the people, right? So democracy means responsible government. This is one important feature of the democracy. Understand, right? So here, if the people can ask them to explain their work also, we can ask them what is the work they have done, how they have done, okay, and reject them if they are not satisfied with the work. We have the right to reject them, right? It means that see, last time it was what to call UPA government, Congress government. We did not like the Congress government, so we rejected them. We given power to BJP, right? Earlier to TRS party emergency in India, in Telangana, there was a rule by TDP. So we were not happy with the TDP rule. Next, we given power to TRS. Now people are not happy with the TRS party, right? So that what happened in GHMC elections? They have lost some seats, right? In Dubaka by election also, we see that there the people did not like TRS, so they given what to call vote to BJP. So in coming elections, to whom the people like, uh, to whom the people believe, they will give power to such candidates. So, according to the people needs and according to the wish of the people, elected representatives should act. Right? Elected representatives are responsible, accountable to fulfill our needs. If they do not do so, we have the right to reject them. How do we reject? We will reject them by not voting in the next elections. So people are supreme in authority uh, in democracy. In democracy is what a responsible government. This is the what first feature. Okay. Next, we see democracy is based on equality and inclusiveness. We say democracy is rule of the people. What do we say? Rule of the people. What is by rule of the people? We mean all people who are adults, whether they are men or women or rich or poor, white people, black people, Hindus, Christians, Muslims, atheists who believe the God, or atheist, what you call, sorry, who does not believe God or atheist. Understand? Whether they speak one language or other language. That means irrespective of the differences, every individual, what I am saying, individual in the sense it may be men, women, black, white, educated, uneducated, Hindu, Christian, Muslim, whatever it may be. Okay, all individuals who are adults, they are given right to vote. That means everybody enjoys right to vote. That is the equality, right? And all are included, inclusiveness. Earlier right to vote was there to only active citizens and men, that we have studied in French Revolution. But today we see that right to vote is there to all, right? That means democracy is based on equality. Everybody enjoys equality, right? And all are included. Every person have right to express his voice, right? Every community have the right to express his voice. Everyone's participation is needed in democracy. When elections are announced, we see that irrespective of all the differences, people will go on voting. It means that everybody is taking part here. Everybody is included. All are included. That what we call inclusiveness. Instead, democracy took a long time to establish itself. Right? For a long time, it struggled. There was a war between the parliamentary system and a king, what to call group. In England, we have studied glorious revolution, bloodless revolution. There, parliament succeeded, right? So that was a long struggle. Still, the struggle is going to upgrade and update the democracy to meet the requirements and suit to the needs of the what people. Okay. Let us take the right to vote in elections as an indicator to the equality. Right? Today we find equality in democracy. Right? What kind of equality we have? Political equality. Right to vote is a political right. So this is a right given to all. So we have political equality, whether rich men or poor men, whether men or women, whether people belonging to different races and religions, everybody is given right to vote. That is the equality. Understand? So here in USA, when it turned to a democratic nation, there women were given right to vote by 1920. They got right to vote by 1920. So earlier it was not there to women. So democracy should be inclusive one. So slowly the right to vote extended to women in America by after their struggle, when women struggled for equality, right or not? And here, the discrimination against black citizens. This will study in the 10th class. Black citizens were not given equal status in America. So, Afro American people, means black American people, they raised voice against discrimination. There was a discrimination followed in America against black people who are living in America. When America got independence, uh, when sorry, when America discovered by European sailors, then many of the Europeans started migrating to the America. There they wanted to settle and start industries and cultivate crops, right? So at that time they need workers. So these European people have did slave trade, taking the what a black African people to America and used these black African people there as slaves. So now America, in America we find black people who are brought by the Europeans, and these black people were not given equal status with the white people. That is a discrimination, what we call apartheid. In other words, racial discrimination shown against black citizens. Black citizens deprived of certain rights in America. They were not allowed to study with the white people. Black people were not given to use the public facilities. So against this, Martin Luther raised voice, and finally discrimination ended in America by 1965. Understand? The first nation to allow voting rights to all the group of people was in New Zealand. In New Zealand, by 1893, right to vote given to all the people. Okay. In New Zealand, women and black people have gone through a great struggle for achieving right to vote. And the first country which given right to vote to all its citizens, that is USSR, after the Russian Revolution which occurred in 1917. See, in New Zealand, women and black people went through the long struggle and they achieved right to vote. So the first nation to allow right to vote for all groups is New Zealand. And the first large country, difference is there. Russia is the largest country in the world. The first large country which given right to vote for all citizens is USSR. And the first country which given right to vote for all people, that is New Zealand in 1893. Okay. And right to vote, it is different from one nation to another nation. Okay. Look at the figure given here. Understand? What do you see here? You cannot vote because you belong to different race. Here the what a white person said to black. So that was there in democracy in America. Today it is not there. They raised a struggle and succeeded. And another is that you can't vote. That means you are children, right? My dear students, you are children, so you can't vote because you are too young, right? After crossing the 18 years, there will be development of the faculties of mind. Then there will be awareness on the politics. Then you will go for right person to uh, get success in election. So children are not given right to vote as they are too young. So what is there in right to vote? All adults who crossed 18 years of age. Earlier it was 21 years, and it is uh, changed to 18 years, right? So today it is 18 years. So when you cross 18 years, you enroll your name into the election commission. Okay. So this is what to call right to vote. Understand? So here in democracy we find equality. Everybody is given equality. Everybody is included in democracy. So democracy is based on equality and inclusiveness. Understand? This is the point. Okay. Here some examples are given to know that the value of right to vote. In Estonia, it is a nation. They have made its citizenships rules. For citizenship, for citizens, there is a rule. So in Estonia, they have made citizenship rules in such a way that people belonging to Russian minority find it difficult to get the right to vote. The Russian minorities. That means Russian people living in Estonia. Those are minorities in Estonia. Estonian people are majority. So the citizenship rules in Estonia favorable to the local people, that is Estonian people, and it was difficult for Russian minorities. And next is in Fiji. It is also one nation. They have a different electoral system. That means election system is different in such a way that vote of an indigenous Fiji. What is mean by indigenous Fiji? That means the native person who born there, local people, native people. Indigenous means native one. So the vote of an indigenous Fiji. Fiji means person who living in the nation Fiji. So his vote value is greater to an Indian Fijian. Indian Fijian means a person belonging to India living in Fiji, right? So it was from the year 2013 elections that an equal right vote is being implemented there. Up to 2013, in elections, whenever the people voted, their local people vote value is greater to the non-local people who are living there. So who are non-local people? Indian Fijians. Local people are those who born there. Those are indigenous Fiji. So indigenous Fiji vote value is greater to the non-indigenous Fijians. That was followed up to 2013. By 2013, there they transformed that everyone should have one vote, and one person, one vote value is one. Such a idea implemented after 2013 elections in what to call Fiji. Okay, so democracy is based on a fundamental principle of political equality and inclusiveness. We all have political equality because everybody is given right to vote. In a democracy, every adult citizen will find one vote. It may be the prime minister, or maybe the teacher, or maybe the doctor, or someone. Everybody will get one vote, and each one's vote value is one. So what we see in democracy, there is equality. How can we say everybody is given right to vote and everyone is given one vote? Everyone's vote value is one. So each person one vote. One vote value is one. That shows what? Equality. Our constitution provides universal franchise. What is by universal franchise? Nothing but right to vote. Okay, when right to vote is given to all its citizens, it is called universal franchise. It is given to adult, so we call universal adult franchise. This is given to all the citizens who crossed 21 years of age by our constitution, Indian constitution. By 81 amendment, sorry, by 61 amendment, it is decreased to 18 years in during the Rajiv Gandhi period. So now it is not 21 years, it is 18 years instead. So those who cross 18 years, they get a right to vote instead. So this is we see. Okay. Second one is democracy. Uh, Democracy is based on equality and inclusiveness. Okay. Third is democracy requires active participation of citizens. When elections will when elections are announced, we all have to take part in elections by voting, right? Then only there would be what right candidate will be elected. Democracy is taken to mean only voting in election and choosing the rulers. Democracy also means that citizens should participate in making of policies and laws by the government and implementing them. Generally, we think that how do people take part in democracy? When elections will come, we think that yes, it is our right and responsibility to vote. Many people will feel that casting their vote, exercising their vote is their participation. That is not enough. Still, some more is needed. Citizens' participation is very essential in making the policies of the government and making law. So, how can we take part here, right? Because we are not representatives elected, we elected representatives. So, as a citizens, how can we take part in democracy, right? This can be done by extensive public discussions in which people participate. We can conduct meetings, right? Public meetings. There could be public discussion. Participation will be mass. Mass people, mass, that means people take part, expressing their needs and views. We can take rallies, demonstration. We see that many demonstrations are taking place in the democratic nation. See, against LRS and Dharani portal, people have raised their voice. That we have seen, right? When CAA, Citizens Amendment Act, was going to uh, taken by the BJP, then also what the people raised their voice by discussions, debates, taking rallies, right? When Article 370 is going to be suspended, at the time also certain group of people have raised their voice. So this is the what people participation, right? So people can take part in making the policies of the government and what to call laws of the government by public discussion. Okay, it also requires that the people be involved in effective implementation of the policies and laws by forming independent citizen committees. Citizens have to form their own committees instead. Through that committees, they could take. See, we find today that what to call committees based on caste, religion, right? And by the educated. Lawyers have some committee. What to call teachers have one committee. So we find unions. Through the unions, they can what express their views and conduct debates and discussions instead. So this kind of participation of the people is not achieved easily, right? In many countries, even the elected governments do not encourage public participation. Governments do not encourage, because if the people do not like the government, then they will go on criticizing the government. So do you think that the government will allow its criticism? So we find in any of the nation where government is elected by people, they do not encourage public participation, right? People also do not show active interest in public affairs and remain apathetic. In what apathetic in the sense of what inactive, right? The people will watching to the news, reading to the newspaper. Huh? What do? They think that yes, let it be, it go on. Such a people are there, in such way the people are there will not get success of democracy. In democracy will success and become strong when people take part actively. Understand? So for example, we see that in much publicized elections, that in the president of USA in the 2012 elections of a president in USA, 40 percentage of the people did not vote at all. In GHMC elections also we have seen recently what 35 to below 40 only people have voted. 60 percentage of the people have not come forward taking part in GHMC elections. Why? What happened? They are not interested. Understand? So here the government should focus on to that one. Why people are not coming forward? What is the problem there? Right? If all the people take part in election, then the result will be different. Okay, 40% have voted, 60% of the citizens have not voted. If this 60 percentage also goes for voting, then there would be change of election result. Okay, that means there would be what toughest and a tough candidate, efficient candidate will come into power. Understand? So people participation is very essential. Look at this figure 18.6. What do you see that? It is a chessboard. There we see that people are standing in their position, right? So when this game will come to end, when these people start moving ahead. If they are standing at their own place, this game will never start and will never end. So this chessboard on where the people are standing indicates that the people are inactive. If they move, then the game will start and there will be what a counter by opposition side, and there would be encounter by this side. Then that will bring out what good results. So people participation is very essential. That is shown here in the figure 18.6. Okay, here people are inactive. They are not taking part in democracy. So if we want the democracy have to success and work properly, then there is need of effective participation of the what people. Okay, so this is the what another principle of the democracy. Democracy requires civil liberties. This we'll see in the next class.